Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Eugenia Concha from El Equipo Mazzanti. We are a medium-sized office in Colombia, between 15 and 50 people. It depends on the moment of the projects we are developing. And also we love to collaborate with international architecture office, but also other people like artists, economists, philosophers, anthropologists, urban lawyers, depending on what we think the project requires. So Colombia is a country which is characterized by a geography quite complicated. There are lots of mountains, so it has very difficult access. And in this context, in the recent years, there were so many highways being built. And these highways just connect important cities and ports, crossing very poor regions, but with a lack of infrastructures. And the communities which these highways pass through only receive connectivity. And on the other hand, I'm sure all of us have traveled hundreds and thousands of kilometers crossing countries with the only objective to get to the final destination and not thinking about making a stop to connect with the local communities. So this is what it's about, the project. This project is the result of a reflection where we realized that traditionally road infrastructure have been used exclusively to reinforce physical connectivity. But corridors can be harnessed for smarter planning initiative, improving agricultural opportunities, creating rural jobs, and tourist hotspots. We saw an amazing opportunity to bring the users of these highways who have passing through closer to the communities that inhabit those territories and their culture. So basically, the concept was to transform the new control and operation centers into community centers, insert in cultural environments, connecting people using the roads and people living close by. This is the first example of a project created by a private initiative presented by El Equipo Mazzanti and Odinsa, which was the road company, to the government, which draws the potential of the control centers. Generally, these control and operation centers are very little used since they can be only accessed by the personnel in charge of the maintenance and general operation of the infrastructures, station roads and road junctions. They are anonymous workspaces for a few, just designed for supervision of the infrastructures, but with any other purpose but modernization of the country, while the life of communities is somewhere else. So the purpose has been to offer a space to the new community born from the exchange between those who travel and those who live there. Here, the travelers can find a coffee place, a restaurant, and a large market with agricultural products of the region, but also a space with cultural events, conference rooms, and operate cinema. This Control and Operation Center serves to be a connection between the travelers and the inhabitants of the regions. So the building is located in the center of a green plot at a fork in the road. The topography of the site has been modified by excavation to isolate the public areas located under the main volume. The slopes created with the modified topography serve as theaters for public events and activities. Its architecture reminds and evokes the traditional houses with verandas, roofs, doors, windows, and other architectural elements painted in red, and built in timber and wood. So the idea was to bring and put together all the cultural knowledge and to exchange the rooted traditions and share with the travelers, as well as it served to local communities with programs like outdoor cinema, marketplaces, garden center. In Colombia, there is a very rooted tradition exchanging seats, shops and stores, event square, local food, learning center, and tourist information. So the project used the typology of agricultural centers for drying coffee, which is a typical local crop. Because of this very warm climate, the site and the wooden floating box, that it's completely open except the office area, are planned to use natural wind and ventilation while being protected from the sun. As you can see, the project is organized through two main bodies. The first one, the roof I've mentioned, painted red, like the peasant and colonial houses of the region, as well as the pillars that support it and the access bridge. In contrast, a second body of wooden slats made up a volume high of natural terrain, like a floating box, on slits that rise from the underground level. In this volume are located the restaurant and the coffee place, office for the road control and operation, and some training classes. Under the main volume, there are other training rooms, local for Regio's product, storage places, and the market under the shade. This is one of the bridge axes. So, since its inauguration, it has been the epicenter of more than 60 events held by communities, local and regional administration, the concession in charge of the project, companies from different sectors, and other entities. This is the restaurant and the coffee place in the floating box volume. And cultural events have promoted the strengthening of social fabric, the transfer of knowledge, and economic reactivation. And here there is a video. I don't know if it works. Unfortunately, the video was recorded at the very beginning of the pandemic, so it doesn't show the real life of the place. Thank you.